Hi, this is Ryan from Android in Canada, and here's my review of the Motorola Motoluxe, available on Bell and Virgin Mobile. Okay, so first off, it is a 4-inch screen device that has a very kind of nice rubberized back on it as well. You have an 8 megapixel camera. I'll talk about that in a bit. You know, your standard headphone jack, power, volume, and camera, which I never really can seem to get to go into camera no matter how I try playing around with it. Anyways, so let's first talk about this phone. It is, like I said, a 4-inch screen, 480 by 854, and it's got a very nifty lock screen. The only problem is that this lock screen, because it's a smaller device, looks a little crowded. You have all these different apps around the side here that you can swipe in to go jump to that app. And it'll even tell you if there's a notification, there's, message waiting or whatever it is. But the problem is that it's a little crowded. So let's go into there. So in the device, you got some of your standard Moto Blur kind of feel. You got a new widget, which I haven't seen yet before, which is this sort of commonly used apps, which was, it sort of self-populates. The more you use it, the go into the center or get bigger. So, and I kind of like that little feel about it too. It kind of nifty. You have the same even for contacts. As you contact people and email them, whatever, it'll populate that as well. So it's got some neat widgets. One thing I didn't like with the widgets is that it's non-scrolling. Like for my email app, I have to physically scroll, push the up and down button. So I don't know if that's an option somewhere. I couldn't find it to change to scrolling options, but you don't get that. With the widgets and the Moto Blur ones we've seen before, you also always be able to grab a widget, pick it up, and as you move it around, it would wobble. It gives a little bit of wobble, but it's so laggy. And this comes from the fact it's a sub-gigahertz processor. It's only about 800 megahertz, so it tends to be a little slow going through it. So not at all really kind of snappy. I can't show you right now, but what's really neat too that you get about it is that even though it is gingerbread, you still get that you can get rid of individual notifications. Normally with gingerbread, you'd have to either clear them all or just pick one item. This one you can actually go ahead and just pick different items in the notification rate to clear just that one. So that was kind of nice. You also get what I kind of liked and I really missed is vertically scrolling app tray. I kind of like that. I miss that. I hate when we swipe screen to screen. I always forget, is it the 5th screen or 4th screen, whatever. And then sort of apps you get for free. You also get Quick Office Lite, which is kind of cool. So you get that for free. Other than that, the biggest downfall I think you're going to find on this is that in terms of space, it has very little. It has only 131 sort of free after I put a couple apps on here. Not much. So not much you can store on here for games or whatever. But the worst part is that you go into the camera, which they say it's supposed to be a really good camera, but because it's so limited in space, you can only take a picture if you've got a card put into it. Well, I don't have any cards, so I didn't get a chance to try the camera out. And I think you guys know my feeling on having SD cards. So that I think is a downfall in my opinion. Speaking of the cards, which is kind of neat, I did enjoy. I've always said I hated how they have cards in there. And how do you get at them? You can only take it at them if you get the battery out. Well, this one actually has a special little swing bridge kind of thing that you take the card, put it in there, flap it close. Kind of neat. I like that. But I would prefer not to use a card at all if I don't have to. So, oops. The last thing that people tend to ask about these kinds of phones is that the battery life. So I haven't really put it through its paces. I haven't really tried to drain it. The battery life has been pretty decent. I mean, then again, it is a smaller screen, smaller processor, so you should get some pretty good life out of it. I mean, some of the people are saying, 6.5 hours of just straight talk time. So that'd probably be like 10 hours of normal usage time. So there you have it. A decent little phone. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about was this little notification light down here. It's actually very bright. I put some pictures on the blog. Very cool because it's different colors. It's blue for notification. It's green if it's charging or whatever. So very bright. So don't use this next to you when you go try to go to sleep because it's very bright. Yeah, so there you go. Nice little phone. I wouldn't personally pick it up because then again I'm used to the Galaxy Nexus. Just to hold it up for size difference. You can see the difference in size that these guys are. I like my phone's a little bigger, a little more powerful. But I think with Father's Day coming around the corner, I know my dad has probably an old, it's not an old phone, but a really crappy phone, and would be happy to go to something like this. Definitely if it's your first Android or first smartphone, a nice little pickup just because it just has exactly what you would need. But if you're used to a little more power, bypass it. But then again, it's free. You go on a 3-year plan, this thing's free. And I think, pound for pound, there's not many other free devices out there that will get you kind of what this was going to offer you. So, yeah, check it out on Bell and Virgin. It's free on the 3-year plan, or it's $300, I think, if you want to buy it straight out. Right, so check out the rest of the review on the blog. I'll put a few more pictures, and I'll put a few more of my thoughts on there. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Bye.